12 bizarre foods people actually eat. Bizarre food number 1. Ballad Philippines. Imagine biting into a hard-boiled egg only to discover a partially developed duck fetus inside. Yes, that's ballad. It's the culinary equivalent of a Kinder Surprise, but instead of a toy, you get feathers and beaks. Ballad is often served with a pinch of salt, vinegar, and a side of courage. It's basically a dare wrapped in an eggshell. Locals swear by its aphrodisiac properties, so if you're looking to spice up your love life, maybe skip the oysters and reach for a fetus instead. The texture? Well, it's a mix of crunchy bones, tender flesh, and gooey yolk. It's like nature's version of a 3-course meal. Ballad is usually enjoyed at night, possibly because it's easier to eat in the dark when you can't see what you're actually consuming. Despite its appearance, ballad is considered street food in the Philippines. I guess street food is just another way of saying, I dare you to eat this. This snack is so popular that there's even a balut eating contest. The prize? Eternal bragging rights, and maybe a slight case of indigestion. Ballad is believed to bring good health and stamina, because nothing says health like munching on an unborn bird, right? Eating ballad is considered a rite of passage for tourists. It's the Filipino way of saying, welcome to the Philippines, now prove your bravery. If you're feeling squeamish, just remember, it's all protein. And hey, at least it's not deep-fried tarantulas yet. Bizarre food number 2. Casu marzu, Italy. Casu marzu is a cheese so intense, it's illegal in some places. Yes, you read that right. This cheese is literally a crime. What makes it illegal? The maggots, of course. Casu marzu is an extra-aged cheese that's home to hundreds of live maggots. They're not just tenants, they're part of the recipe. The maggots are there to help ferment the cheese, breaking down fats until it's so soft, it practically oozes. If your cheese isn't crawling, are you even eating? Brave souls who eat casu marzu say the maggots can jump up to 6 inches in the air, so it's recommended to protect your eyes while you eat. Safety first. The taste is said to be sharp, spicy, and utterly unforgettable, much like the trauma you might experience from eating it. This Sardinian delicacy is traditionally served with Sardinian bread and a glass of red wine. You'll need the wine to wash down the maggots and the memory. Locals claim the maggots add a unique flavor. Whether that flavor is terror or just pure insanity is up for debate. Despite its reputation, casu marzu is a source of pride for many Sardinians. It's like the culinary equivalent of bungee jumping. Scary, but thrilling. The maggots are supposed to be alive when you eat the cheese, because dead maggots mean the cheese has gone bad. Yes, that's the line between edible and rotten here. Some people prefer to remove the maggots before eating. Others think that's cheating. It's a debate as old as the cheese itself. Bizarre food number 3. Hakarl Iceland. Hakarl is fermented shark, and by fermented, I mean buried underground for months until it smells like ammonia and tastes like, well, regret. This Icelandic delicacy has been described as one of the most horrific foods on the planet. Anthony Bourdain called it the single worst, most disgusting and terrible tasting thing he had ever eaten. So, of course, it's a local favorite. The shark used in Hakarl is poisonous when fresh, so the fermentation process is necessary to make it safe to eat. Because nothing says bon appetit like a dish that could kill you if prepared incorrectly. The smell of Hakarl is so strong that it's often eaten outdoors. This also helps reduce the likelihood of your house smelling like a chemistry experiment gone wrong. The taste? Imagine biting into a piece of fishy cheese that's been marinating in cleaning products. Now you're getting close. Hakarl is usually served in small cubes, because even Icelanders know that eating this stuff in large quantities is just asking for trouble. It's traditionally washed down with a shot of Brennivin, a strong Icelandic liquor also known as Black Death. You know, to kill the taste, or your taste buds, whichever goes first. Visitors are often dared to try Hakarl, making it Iceland's version of an initiation ritual. If you survive, you get to say you've truly experienced Icelandic culture. Some locals actually enjoy Hakarl and claim it's an acquired taste. But let's be honest, some tastes are probably better left unacquired. If you're ever in Iceland and someone offers you Hakarl, remember, it's not a punishment. It's a cultural experience, with a side of nose plugs. Bizarre food number 4. Surströmming, Sweden. Surströmming is fermented herring, a dish so pungent that it's been banned from several airlines. Yes, even in a sealed can, it's considered a biohazard. The fermentation process takes months, during which the fish practically disintegrates into a stinky, salty goo. It's fish, but with the smell dialed up to nuclear. Opening a can of surströmming is a risky endeavor, often done outdoors to avoid evacuating the entire neighborhood. If your can doesn't hiss like a feral cat, you're doing it wrong. The smell is so intense that it's recommended to have an escape route planned before you open the can, just in case you need to flee the scene. Despite the stench, surströmming is traditionally eaten with flatbread, potatoes, and onions. The idea is to mask the taste with anything that doesn't smell like death. Surströmming has a dedicated fan base in Sweden, where people hold surströmming parties. Because nothing says, let's celebrate, like sharing the world's smelliest food. The taste is said to be sour, salty, and something you won't forget even after brushing your teeth 10 times. It lingers, like the regret of eating it. Surströmming is so notorious that it's inspired countless reaction videos online. Watching someone try surströmming is the second most popular way to experience it, right after avoiding it entirely. The fermentation process releases gases that make the can bulge, so if your surströmming can looks like it's about to explode, it's perfectly normal. Just be sure to point it away from your face when opening. If you ever find yourself with a can of surströmming, just remember, you're holding a culinary grenade. Handle with care, and maybe have a gas mask on standby. Bizarre food number 5.
Escamoles, Mexico.
Eskimals are ant larvae, often referred to as insect caviar. Yes, because when you think luxury, you obviously think of ant babies. This delicacy has been eaten in Mexico since the time of the Aztecs, who apparently looked at a pile of larvae and thought, dinner. The larvae are harvested from the roots of agave plants, so technically, you're just eating a byproduct of tequila. It's practically a party on your plate. Eskimals are usually sautéed with butter and spices, giving them a nutty flavor. Because if you're going to eat ants, they might as well taste good. The texture is often compared to cottage cheese, but with more crunch. It's like eating cheese curds that could crawl away if they wanted to. Eskimals are considered a delicacy, so if you're served a plate, it's a compliment. Just try not to think about what you're actually eating. They're often served in tacos or omelets, proving once again that you can put anything in a taco and someone will eat it. Some people claim Eskimals have an aphrodisiac effect, because nothing says romance like a mouthful of ant larvae, right? Despite being larvae, Eskimals are packed with protein. So, if you're looking to bulk up, maybe skip the protein shake and go straight for the insects. If you're squeamish, just remember, it's all in your head, and in your mouth, and possibly in your nightmares. Bizarre food number 6. Fugu, Japan. Fugu is a Japanese delicacy made from pufferfish, which contains a toxin 1,200 times more deadly than cyanide. It's sushi with a side of danger. The toxin, called tetrodotoxin, can paralyze and kill you if not prepared correctly. But hey, what's life without a little risk? Only specially trained and licensed chefs are allowed to prepare fugu. This isn't your average sushi joint. This is sushi with a PhD. Despite the risk, fugu is considered a luxury item in Japan. Because nothing says, I've made it, like eating something that could kill you. The taste of fugu is often described as subtle, delicate, and not at all worth dying for. But if you survive, at least you'll have a great story. Fugu is traditionally served as sashimi, with the fish sliced so thin you can see through it. The thinner the slice, the less likely you are to die, hopefully. The liver and ovaries are the most toxic parts of the fish, so naturally, they're considered the most delicious. Because who doesn't love living on the edge? Every year, a few people die from eating improperly prepared fugu. It's like the culinary version of Russian roulette, only with more soy sauce. Despite the danger, fugu remains popular in Japan, especially during the winter months. Nothing warms you up like the thrill of potentially fatal food. If you're ever offered fugu, just remember, it's the ultimate test of trust. Do you trust the chef with your life? And more importantly, do you trust your own taste buds? Bizarre food number 7. Cutla, Mexico. Cutla is a fungus that grows on corn, often called Mexican truffle. But let's be real, it's corn smut. Sounds appetizing, right? The fungus turns the corn kernels into large, swollen, grayish-black lumps. It's like your corn got a goth makeover. Despite its appearance, Cutla is considered a delicacy in Mexico, where it's often used in quesadillas, soups, and tamales. Because nothing says comfort food like a side of fungal growth. The taste is earthy, savory, and slightly sweet, kind of like mushrooms but with more drama. Cutla is packed with nutrients, including protein, fiber, and amino acids. It's basically the superfood you never knew you needed. The Aztecs considered Cutla a delicacy, so when you eat it, you're actually participating in an ancient tradition. You're practically a historian with a taco. Farmers in the US often destroy corn infected with Cutla, considering it a blight. Meanwhile, in Mexico, it's sold at a premium. One farmer's trash is another's gourmet ingredient. Some people believe Cutla has medicinal properties, claiming it can boost your immune system and improve digestion. Because if a fungus can survive on corn, it can probably help you survive the flu. Cutla has been featured in high-end restaurants around the world, proving that even the weirdest foods can go mainstream. So, the next time you see it on a menu, just think of it as the corn's rebellious phase. If you're hesitant to try Cutla, just remember, it's not a parasite, it's a symbiote. And who wouldn't want a little symbiotic relationship with their food? Bizarre food number 8. Century egg, China. Century eggs are eggs preserved in a mixture of clay, ash, and quicklime for several weeks or months. The result? An egg that looks like it's been around since the dinosaurs. The yolk turns green or gray, while the white becomes a translucent brown jelly. It's basically an egg's midlife crisis. Despite the name, century eggs aren't actually 100 years old, though they might look and smell like they are. The taste is salty, pungent, and slightly sulfuric, like an egg that's been through some serious existential trauma. Century eggs are often served with pickled ginger or soy sauce to balance out the intense flavor. Because if your egg tastes like sulfur, a little ginger isn't going to hurt. In China, century eggs are considered a delicacy and are often eaten as part of a meal or on their own as a snack. Because who wouldn't want to snack on a zombie egg? The preservation process dates back to the Ming Dynasty, so when you eat a century egg, you're literally tasting history. Despite their appearance, century eggs are rich in protein and are surprisingly nutritious. It's like the egg that survived the apocalypse and is now stronger for it. Some people are put off by the smell, but for century egg enthusiasts, that's just the aroma of authenticity. If it doesn't smell like a chemistry lab, is it even real? If you're brave enough to try a century egg, just remember, it's not expired, it's experienced. And there's a fine line between the two. Bizarre food number 9. Tuna eyeballs, Japan. Tuna eyeballs are exactly what they sound like. Giant fish eyes served up as a delicacy. It's sushi that stares back at you. In Japan, tuna eyeballs are often boiled and seasoned with soy sauce and ginger. Because if you're going to eat an eyeball, it might as well be well seasoned. The texture is described as gelatinous and chewy, like a cross between Jell-O and calamari. It's like nature's own gumball, but much less fun. Despite their appearance, tuna eyeballs are considered a healthy snack, packed with omega-3 fatty acids and protein. It's brain food, literally. Eating tuna eyeballs is said to improve your eyesight. Whether that's true or just wishful thinking is up for debate, but at least you'll have a great view from the dinner table. The flavor is mild, with a slight fishiness. It's like eating the sea, but with a lot more eye contact. Tuna eyeballs are often served as izakaya fare, which is Japan's version of pub food. So, next time you're at a Japanese pub, skip the peanuts and go straight for the eyes. The dish is popular among adventurous eaters and foodies who enjoy pushing the boundaries of what's considered edible. It's a badge of honor in the weird food world. If you're squeamish, just remember, you've probably eaten worse things, you just didn't know it. At least with tuna eyeballs, what you see is what you get. For those daring enough to try tuna eyeballs, just remember to keep your eyes open, literally and figuratively. You wouldn't want to miss a moment of this unique culinary experience. Bizarre food number 10. Bird's nest soup, China. Bird's nest soup is made from the hardened saliva of cave-dwelling birds called swiftlets. Yes, you're basically eating bird spit, and it's considered a luxury. The nests are painstakingly harvested from high cave walls, making them one of the most expensive animal products consumed by humans. It's like the caviar of spit. The soup is believed to have numerous health benefits, including boosting the immune system, improving skin, and promoting longevity. Who knew bird saliva was the secret to eternal youth? The taste is subtle and slightly sweet, with a gelatinous texture that's both comforting and slightly unsettling. It's like eating a bowl of delicate jelly, made from spit. Bird's nest soup has been consumed in China for over 400 years, particularly among the wealthy. Because when you're rich, even your soup has to be extravagant. The soup is often served at banquets and special occasions, symbolizing wealth, health, and status. It's the soup version of wearing a Rolex. Swiftlets build their nests almost entirely from their own saliva, which hardens when exposed to air. So, you're literally eating something a bird spat out and said, "Yep, that's good enough." Harvesting the nests is a dangerous job, involving scaling cliffs and braving dark, bat-filled caves. The things people do for luxury. Despite its origins, bird's nest soup is considered a delicacy and is often served with chicken broth, sugar, and sometimes even gold flakes. Because why not add a little bling to your spit soup? If you're ever served bird's nest soup, just remember, you're eating history, luxury, and a whole lot of bird spit. But hey, it's supposed to be good for you, so enjoy. Bizarre food number 11. Sonachi, South Korea. Sonachi is live octopus, cut into pieces and served immediately while the tentacles are still squirming. It's sushi with a side of, "Are you sure this is dead?" The tentacles are known to cling to your throat as you swallow, so it's recommended to chew thoroughly. This dish is not for the faint of heart or slow chewers. Sonachi is often dipped in sesame oil and served with a variety of side dishes. The oil helps make the tentacles less likely to stick to your throat, but only slightly. The texture is chewy and slightly rubbery, like trying to eat a very determined gummy worm that doesn't want to go down. The taste is mild, with a slight oceanic flavor. It's like tasting the sea, but with more tentacle action. Sonachi is considered a delicacy in South Korea, where it's eaten both for its taste and for the thrill of eating something still wriggling. The dish is popular at seafood markets, where the octopus is selected and prepared on the spot. Talk about fresh. Sonachi is believed to have health benefits, including improved stamina and virility. Because nothing says manliness like wrestling with your dinner. Eating sonachi is a test of skill. as you have to manage the wriggling tentacles while also making sure you don't choke. It's like a dinner and a challenge all in one. If you're adventurous enough to try Sonachi, just remember, it's not just food, it's a full contact sport. And victory never tasted so squirmy. Bizarre food number 12. Stargazy pie, England. Stargazy pie is a Cornish dish made with whole pilchards, sardines, eggs, and potatoes, baked into a pie with their heads poking out through the crust. Yes, the fish are staring at you while you eat them. The dish dates back to the 16th century and is traditionally eaten during the winter festival of Tombawcock's Eve. It's basically a pie that doubles as a festival decoration. The name comes from the fish heads, which are arranged to look like they're gazing up at the stars. It's like your food is admiring the view while you admire your food. The pie is said to bring good luck, especially if the fish are staring in all directions. Because what's luckier than a pie full of eyeballs? The fish heads sticking out are meant to prove there's actual fish inside. It's like a guarantee that your pie is filled with the freshest and most judgmental ingredients. Despite its appearance, Stargazy pie is considered a comforting dish with a rich, savory flavor that's perfect for cold winter nights. It's like a warm hug from a very fishy friend. The pie crust is buttery and flaky, contrasting with the tender fish and creamy potatoes inside. It's a classic combination. If you can get past the fact that your dinner is watching you. Stargazy pie has inspired many modern chefs to create their own versions, some of which include more friendly presentations. But where's the fun in that? If you're ever in Cornwall during Tombawcock's Eve, don't miss the chance to try Stargazy pie. It's a tradition, a conversation starter, and a meal all rolled into one. Just remember, when eating Stargazy pie, you're not just enjoying a dish, you're making eye contact with history. And history is delicious. And that's it from this video. See you in the next one.